Hello everybody, welcome to the session about the HORECA and on-trade business. The segment is undergoing tremendous change, not only last year, but still due to all the circumstances that we're facing. My name is Marco van Gent. I'm part of the pre-sales team here at HORECA, and I'll take you through this short agenda. We'll focus on some trends that we've seen in 2020. We'll also be joined by Constantinos Andreou, the Group Business Manager of Photiades, to talk about their digital transformation plans. We have a look at the outlook for this year and the years to come, and of course I can help you with that, and we'll do that mainly through a product demonstration. So we look at 2020. We have seen three big themes popping up for the HORECA industry. So one is we started working from home. We had a lot of restrictions that led finally into lockdowns. And health and well-being is a topic that's popping up in many forms and impacts for the industry. So working from home also means no or less travel. If we look back, it started out with when the virus popped up. We saw business slowing down. People started to adopt Zoom as the new way of doing business, but also our daily commute was going down, so that all led into a lot of loss of revenue for hotels, restaurants, bars, your local kiosk for your coffee on the go. We saw a change to much more buy local, not only from a retail perspective, but also going into your local bar, your local restaurants, because you're not commuting to the office or to your business anymore. And also lunch is now something you do behind your Zoom screen. That translates basically in the graph that I put here, just to identify the different subsections in the sector. All has seen a revenue loss, except for one, which was much more the takeaway or delivery element of the HORECA that's gaining from the working from home capabilities and new reason. We also saw a lot of brand initiatives from a lockdown perspective to support local communities with all kinds of initiatives to make sure that you keep track and alignment with the HORECA channel in terms of vouchers and other initiatives to keep the brands alive and the feeling like Carlsberg did, adopt a keg, you buy it and you consume it at home. Coke and Pepsi were supporting some local initiatives to keep the local stores running with all kinds of support, also in the financials with new delivery or credit schemes. But also from the HORECA itself, we saw new business initiatives being popped up. Things like virtual restaurant or ghost kitchens that popped up, mainly driven by that uptake in takeaway and delivery. Also saw menu optimizations to shrink down the menus, to come up with smaller menus that led into other assortments and stock that you need to have in terms of ingredients, and therefore less risk if there was a new lockdown or a new restriction on the way. On the other hand, with that whole takeaway and delivery thing popping up, we also saw an uptake in quality from not only your traditional pizza or sushi that you let the takeaway carry out to your home. We also saw an uptake in the quality that gourmet restaurants also started to deliver meals to their customers rather than serving them in their own premises. Another trend was looking much more into the more healthier ingredients that were demanded by consumers, more non-alcoholic drinks and more plant-based ingredients, etc. On the other hand, they opened up new revenue streams of doing, especially in line with e-commerce, start selling things like ingredients that they normally just used in the food now as individual items, or like what Noma was doing, opening up like a store where you can buy the tableware or glassware that you normally would use in the restaurant, but now to align that with their brand. And finally, from a health and safety perspective, we saw, of course, the focus on healthier foods and healthier ingredients. So there's a change in products that were demanded by the business. We saw new products popping up like hand sanitizers, that were produced by beverage companies like Alcomaas or AB InBev. And on the other hand, I also saw a donation of these companies of water and alcohol to hospitals and the farming industry to make sure that there were no shortages in these base supplies for developing medicines. From a retail execution perspective, there's also a big change going on, because we saw also the disappearance of, for instance, physical menus that changed into QR codes on tables that you can scan with your phone, where you there would have the assortments that were available and the pricing that comes with it. So your whole execution and check of your perfect store or PICOs around these elements certainly is going to change there as well. And we saw some initiatives around the health and safety, from initiatives like a new initiatives around health and safety, like here the example of the Netherlands, why we can say, well, we make sure we have a COVID-free glasses that you can drink your beverages from, making sure we try to control the distribution of the virus. Now, a company that had to deal with a lot of these changes as well, and getting ready for the new normal, is Photiades, who has a strong leadership presence in the fields of beverage production and distribution in Central and Eastern Europe. Today I've had with me Constantinos Andreou, who's the Group Business Systems Manager and leads their digital transformation initiative. Okay, hi Constantinos, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you can spend some time to talk with us about Photos transformation plans. As this session is focused on the on-trade business, on which we know has had a very tough year in 2020 with partial lockdowns and a lot of close of business. Now we're starting up in the new year again. So we're looking into that from a retail execution perspective. Can you tell us a little bit about how Photos is making sure that you get, like, reopening the HORECA, get the right assortments in the right place to get this business back to operational speed as soon as possible?
Hi, Marco. Thanks a lot for the invitation. Actually, one of the biggest challenges for Photiades in 2020, considering the current situation with COVID, was to enable the standard of execution, introducing data-driven sales planning, sales execution, and more sophisticated order capture. The main idea was to have optimized assortments, segmentation, and dynamically applied to optimize execution standards from both on-trade and off-trade customers. This approach up to now is realized to spreadsheets, a lot of manual work in our back office, and the BI, it's okay. It's again manually creation of reports, and of course, it's continuous training required to improve sales visits outcomes, and for us, it's no longer viable for us. So by introducing sales affords a solution, will enable our business developers to perform the right task at the right time and the right place. And this is continuing moving objective as depend on the time of the year, location, and of course, consumer demographic. Mobile retail execution application will automate daily plans for sales to easily follow and cover critical sales KPIs and capture outlets assessments to measure how each outlet remains to pre-agreed standards to drive the best consumer experience. Every single visit to customer should be set according to the execution standard decided to the type of customers. At the end of the day, the mobile solution must drive the business developer in an easy way to follow the step of a successfully visit to the customer.
All right, made some good points. So you touched on being a data-driven solution and focusing on that as well. If we take that to a little bit further from, we've seen artificial intelligence coming active, much more pragmatic lately, because it's been promising for many years, but didn't deliver too much or at high cost. Now that it has advanced in new technologies, how do you see that activated of adding value to Photos its business?
For sure, artificial intelligence and machine learning is something new for us, and we didn't have it in any solution up to now. And per my personal opinion, that this solution will drive the Photos Photiades business forward. Building a digital customer footprint, we arm the business with greater insights into sales history and buying partners, and the utilization of such information will support all departments to optimize the planning, the routing, and the execution processes. Machine learning by its own will give us driven predictions to optimize how wide space opportunities can be captured in new categories, changes to assortments, and predictions of the perfect order and pricing. Such technologies will prove us survey-based intelligence and will drive us to set high-quality targeted sales activity and, of course, promotions. At the end of the day, it's all about having the correct data available.
Good, great insights here. So we started out talking about the digital transformation that Photos is going through momentarily, which is a process on its own with a new way of working, where we see business and IT having to work closely together rather than having these lengthy big bang processes. How is that in Photos? How do you see from an IT perspective bringing value to the business with this way of working?
When we start thinking about the execution standard, it was a challenge for us, as initially said, and it's the responsibility of the revenue growth management team, the execution standards, and this is the first steps that we'll start working with the project so we can step towards to the PPD digital transformation. I believe so that a Forza platform delivers comprehensive combination of insights generation that is fed directly to the users, whether in the field or offices base, to enable data-driven decisions that directly impact profitability and investment decision making. This innovate vision services to evaluate Photos Photiades as leader in their market, serving customers in a way that proactively drives value for all stakeholders across their network. So, as a conclusion, the main idea was to introduce a streamlined and data-driven approach that will bring enormous value to our business, our partners, and our customers, who can better serve by helping understand consuming behavior and optimizing their approach to maximize the revenue opportunity.
Well, that was a really insightful. Thanks, Constantinos, for sharing these thoughts. I know you're busy, so in the interest of time, I'd like to thank you for being part of this session, and looking forward to hear more from your achievements in your digital journey over the next couple of months.
Thank you, Marco.
Okay, we had some good points from Constantinos there. So taking that as well, looking into 2021 and beyond, basically getting ready for the next normal. So going back to our 3 themes, taking that into going forward. Also, working from home is still going to be something that's going to be much more and more towards the new normal. We see a lot of predictions from analysts giving different types of percentages in different periods of time coming for the amount of time that people will be working from home, with all the effects that we have seen popping up in 2020 as well. Second thing, fortunately, is hopefully better sooner than later, is the reopening of the HORECA outlets. But that will have an impact on not only from their perspective, but also from a supplier perspective, a new reality in terms of new assortments or changing of assortments that you can sell to these outlets, to your customers, based on changing needs from their side and new regulations maybe. An impact on segmentations. You will see new initiatives popping up, like the ghost restaurants or virtual restaurants that may have an impact directly on your segmentation, or maybe a new segment as a whole in relationship with the assortments. And especially also in relationship with pricing and the way you do promotions, how you're going to target that to that new situation in the way that you have described or may describe your market. And health and well-being, of course, going to be something that is here. It's going to be a huge focus going forward, but also that will have its effect on your sales and retail execution in terms of new compliance standards that you may subscribe or need to check if they are compliant with the standards that you set, but also to get new insights from your customer base in terms of where they're focusing on, where they're going, what's their next steps, and how that will affect the way that you do business with them. And also have a view on what's the competition doing in this ever-changing market. So we translate that into a solution perspective from an Aforza angle, is how can we help in getting these things setting up and going forward. I want to align it with three teams. So one is focusing much more on intelligence gathering, coming from customer requests, but also competitive intelligence, or your retail execution information is getting what's important and how they're performing. Looking into your sales execution, especially focusing on some our segmentation capabilities, how we can set these up and change them quickly, and how that has its direct relationship with the assortment that you can supply and the pricing that you do against these this way of segmenting your business. And we heard Constantinos also talk about the importance of the data that you have, and not only from a traditional way, but quickly get that information available, have some machine learning capabilities in the back end, and artificial intelligence on top of it, to do things like predictive ordering, provide you with recommendations on products and actions to perform. And that should be fully omnichannel. So not only while you are having an online system, but also when you're in the field utilizing an offline mobile device. So now let's jump into the demonstration and show you these capabilities in action. All right, now let's jump into the system. So I'm logged in already to the Aforza system. We're starting out on the dashboard that calculates some KPIs coming from the underlying data that I'm either collecting when I'm in the field or doing work in the online view of the application. I can measure different elements in my dashboard. For instance, looking into the revenue that the different segments are generating. And also from here, I can drill down and jump directly in the view to define the segmentation setup, which is driven out of rules that we can define on top of attributes. And these attributes we can define ourselves in the application and assign to our customer base. So this is a quick example saying, okay, the rule basically says your channel needs to be equal to bar, and that will determine the bar segment. But also we have the ability to make it much more granular and say, for instance, we want to only track bars that are in a certain proximity of a certain point of interest. Because I can say, oh, I only want to be interested in bars that have a proximity of less than 1 kilometer to a sports venue, and that might be a segmentation of sport bars, for instance. So it's very easy to define these rules and get its effect directly being executed. Remove it again. And then when we have defined our segment, we can also have some related information to that. So we can have related promotions linked to my segment. So dedicated promotions for this segment. The same applies for assortments. So So I can have a dedicated bar assortment or have multiple sub assortments that are all going to be linked to a bar. So one your bar then determines what you can purchase. And we also can have commercial policies that basically describe the way you do your pricing or your discounting. So in this case, we have two. One is basically defining the standard bar discount, which is going to be applied for all bars that, or for all accounts that are part of this segment, the bar segment. The other one is a VIP one on which I can click through on the definition of that policy as well. But we also have a level of rules where we can define on the same mechanism when this policy is going to be applied. So it's not only going to be part for a bar segment, but you also need to be a VIP. So that rule says, okay, that attribute need to be set to true. So that toggle need to be on. And then if that's true, then we can define what the pricing is. So we have three different elements in that discount structure. We're going to give automatically a 5% discount on top of the list price. We have some quantity discount saying if you buy 5, you get 1 free. And also we can get a manual discount of 15% that I can apply as a rep. And then basically on top of the products that are part of that policy. So that might be a subset of your assortment. Now if we jump back to the bar segment, I also can have a view of the accounts that make up that segment based on the rules and the attributes associated to these accounts, on which I can start new functionality. So I can create routes of it for my visit planning, or I can just click through on the underlying data to further investigate this customer. So I have a complete 360-degree view of my customer with all the CRM related data, as well as if I click on the segment, all the attributes that have been assigned to this account. So for instance, we can see it's a VIP customer from a geographical grouping. I can see what's the proximity, for instance, to a sports venue. And I can see from a channel strategy that it's a bar, and in this case, it's even a trendy bar. So these attributes can be assigned, like I said, manually or based on business rules that you define in the system, so they be applied automatically. There's a bunch of other related information that we can review, but for the interest of time, we'll focus on orders that we can capture in the context of the customer. So switching to the online order capture view, either as the account manager that has the customer on the phone, or from a telesales perspective that is calling out or taking orders in. So in the UI on the left hand side, I can quickly have an overview of all the products and promotions or SKUs that are available in the context of the customer. Again, based on that segmentation, I get the most appropriate products and promotions that I can sell to the customer. But like Constantinos already was referring to as well, a data-driven approach becomes much more available, especially when you have AI in place and have that in a pragmatic format. So for here, we're going to use the Forza Assistant to predict an order for this customer for today. And while it does that, it basically defines and predicts 5 products that the customer might be interested in. So you can see the SKUs and the quantities that has been defined. And also we see the pricing is going to be adjusted based on the commercial policies that are defined for this segmentation setup. So clicking through, I can see here my 5% VIP discount that was defined, as well as the 15% maximum manual discount that was set up, as well as I scroll down, I also see the free products that I get from the buy 5, get 1 free. So you can quickly change these things here as well, as the customer is not doing the full predicted order, but I can change those quantities, and then we can automatically recalculate directly what the impact is based on the pricing rules being set. Now, like we said, we need to be able to do this omni-channels, as well as online on the phone from a telesales, as well as in the field, utilizing the field force while we are offline utilizing a mobile device. So with that, I'm going to switch to my mobile device and utilize the Forza's mobile app. So once I start my day, I open up the app. It will synchronize the data that I need for today. and gives me an overview of some of my upcoming visits, some sales KPIs, and I can see the full list of visits that I have upcoming or previous as well. So let me drill down into my first stop. I can quickly get this mapped, the address mapped on a map, so I can easily navigate to it. Once I'm there, I can check in for time-based purposes and calculations, and then I can look into task or previous orders depending on what I need to do. So right on top, I can see all the tasks that are linked to this visit for me to perform, and depending if they're manual or optional, I can execute these in the appropriate order. For this purpose, I will focus on the store check, where based on a survey we can have a structured walkthrough of collecting information around the execution standards that you've applied. For instance, you can look here into things that have to do with safety. Do you have hand sanitizers or distance floor markers in the outlet? Are they selling the appropriate categories of products? Is the pricing available and easily to find? Let's say no, because they have the new QR codes. There's appropriate branding in store, and the quality of service is okay. And then we can look into the visibility of items in terms of some branding that may be there, so they have branded tabs. Any comments, we can do that here, or also have the ability to add additional notes. And if not, then we can just quickly complete the survey. And also here we have the ability to capture orders. So if I start my order, I can look into the same elements. I can look into promotions. I have different types of categories. So for the purpose of the demo, I just open up the wine category, and I'm going to sell the same wine as we did online. But now I can quickly open up a model to say, okay, I want to have 10 of these, for instance. But also now I have the AI kicking in again, so I can see some recommendations of other products that are recommended to me to sell as well. Let me quickly go back to the cart. So adding a certain quantity in the cart, again, you can see that the same pricing is going to be applied. So if I click on the price, you also have the same price waterfall from Pricebook with a 5 and 15% discount, and I get my free products based on the quantity rules that I've set. Now let's assume I finished my order and I finished my visit. I went out the store and I see a new restaurant that is in the same location, which is not a customer of ours. So I'll walk in and see if I can get them interested in some of our products. So I can quickly create a new account. So I can enter some of the relevant information, like the name. I can say, well, the channel that they have. This is a virtual restaurant which has an Italian kitchen, and Jamie Oliver is the owner. So with that information, I can quickly create an account and synchronize that information back to the back office to perform some checks that may be relevant for the segmentation elements or other elements that need to be set if I'm able to sell something to this outlet. So it not only synchronizes back my previous order and the information that I've done with my visit, I also do a quick check. And if I go back to my accounts, I can see now that the fat duck is there. It has some attributes being linked to it, like the channel and the sub-channel being a virtual Italian restaurant, but also gets a credit score of 0 because we don't know this customer yet. Now with that information, I can start my visit and can capture an order, like an initial order that I may want to do with the account. And here I can quickly look into, let's say, I just want to review the full list of assortments or products that I can sell to this customer. And with that, I can see it's a pretty limited list. So basically, based on the attributes that we got back, I'm only able to sell them 2 wines and some ice creams. And also, if I put the product in the cart, I can see that I just get the standard pricing and no discounts because it's not part of that segmentation. So with that, let's finish up the demo. So I showed you some intelligence gathering utilizing surveys. We did some sales execution and both online as well as online based on active segmentation and associated assortments and pricing. And we used a lot of AI from predictive order as well as product recommendations on my mobile device. So with that, I wanted to thank you for your interest in this session, and carry on.